calls continuing to come in.
Rick, can I read you something real quick?
Yeah. Don't do
This
this.
just came in. Should I? I mean, I can let it go.
No, go ahead, I guess. Whatever.
Trump will be back as president. Y'all are going to eat those words in a few weeks. March 4th, hopefully. Biden ain't even allowed in the White House. Military won't let him come through the doors.
Didn't we hear
All
that?
this he's doing right now isn't at the White House.
Y'all,
That is a real person sending a real email.
He has been in the White House.
Have we?
He has been having press conferences. He had a meeting with a bunch of Republicans over the amount of this last bill in the Oval Office. We got pictures. We got video.
All right, I will
Trump's
say
at Mar-a-Lago.
I will say to this person. What's the
For
person?
now.
What's the person's name?
I don't want to give it out.
All right. Can
And you think they're kidding?
No, because we've gone back and forth with some things in
So-
the future.
so-
I just hadn't told y'all about it.
So
Well,
I will say to the emailer, would he?
Dustin, I'll just give his name.
I will say to Dustin.
And what date now? What's going to happen?
March 4th.
They keep moving it back. You know, it was the inauguration.
I'm gonna say this again.
Is this Pizzagate again?
Here, I will be.
Remember that?
I will be
September?
willing. I will be willing to do this, Dustin. Okay, this will happen. If you are right, man, that'd be great.
It would be.
Okay, if you're right, I will come on the air and we will have Dustin is a winner and I'm a loser day. Okay, and we'll let Dustin call up every hour and say, Rick, you're a loser, you're wrong, and I was right, and I'll eat it and all that. Now I will tell you this, Dustin, are you willing on March 5th, if he's not president again, to come on the show and say, I would like for y'all to know I'm wrong?
I doubt you're going to see that.
Why do I think Dustin?
Martial
It'll
law,
always
Rick,
be.
martial law.
it'll
Why do I
always be
think the
kicked down the road.
the Dustins of the world? Why do I think that when March 4th comes and goes, and if Trump's not back as president, which I'm just going to tell you that's kind of where I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I know that I'm really stepping out by saying that he's probably not going to return as president, but if he's not president by the 4th, and this is how all these conspiracy theory works, they'll just move it to April 4th.
Well,
Rick, we've already moved it.
Yeah, April 11th, and then we'll get into June. But
I'm still waiting for Pizzagate to hit in September.
Well, I'm looking for JFK, Jim.
it's
I know he
it's,
was going to show up at that. Trump was going to expose everybody that was in trafficking and all that.
it's almost as if we don't have the ability to say, I guess I was wrong about that.
I know.
Rick, you saw the video that Lisa was all fired up about the guy that was claiming hey, you had get 2 weeks worth of groceries.
Oh, yeah.
Now, is this another
fuel
fat
tanks
guy
on,
with a
the fat
secret
face
tank?
guy.
Yeah.
And he's filming himself driving.
Hey, I mean, he was wrong.
But
he
now
was
Rick,
wrong.
he wasn't prophecy, even though he does deal in prophecy. He just has some
Well-
connections with the military that he had met over the years.
Well, I had somebody email me who follows this pastor, which is fine. And they tried to say when it didn't happen, well, he didn't say it was prophecy. I said, no, got you. You're
but
right.
he said it was going to happen.
But I would be concerned if my pastor or a pastor I followed shot a video in their truck that something was going to happen and involving the CIA and the Capitol, and that didn't happen, and that was my pastor or a pastor I followed, it would bother me. I'd be concerned about it.
Yeah.
It would probably be a new congregation kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
At least I got you on probation.
yeah,
Top your tanks off.
yeah. So, Lynn, welcome to the Rick and Bubba Show. Go ahead, Lynn.
Yeah, I think you should get behind Mike Lindell too. I mean,
Now, Lynn,
Who's not behind
Who's
Mike
not behind
Lindell?
Mike Lindell?
I'm not saying you're not behind him, but
I think you did. If you told me to get behind somebody, that means you think I'm not.
We love Mike Lindell.
Do you see how the English
Yeah.
works? You see how that works out? If you tell me don't stand there, that means where I'm standing, you wish I weren't.
But go ahead with your comment.
Go ahead.
I'd love to hear it.
Okay, my comment is, regardless if Trump ever gets back in there, Joe Biden does not belong in there because he did not win. He stole it. Once you prove that, you get him out of office, go from there. Have a whole new election, elect a totally different human being. I don't care, but Joe Biden did not win, and Camel Toe Harris didn't either.
Hey, Lynn, can I say this to you? You do realize the Democrats said exactly the same thing about Trump.
Yeah, they did.
So should we have taken
Lynn,
Trump out and tried somebody else?
Let me move this forward.
Sure.
Lynn, to your point.
I've never heard Kamala pronounced that way.
No, I haven't heard it spelled out exactly like that.
Class act.
If you, Lynn, if the election was totally manipulated, and it was stolen,
totally manipulated.
and it was stolen, they got away with it. Biden has been sworn in; he will serve as the president. Because
but why let them get away with it?
well, here's the thing,
problem,
Lynn.
see?
We don't
If you
have
accept it and you let them get away with it,
Lynn.
they're going to continue.
Lynn, here's the thing. Wait,
Somebody
stay with Lynn.
needs
I want to
to
hear. I want to hear.
Right.
Lynn, let me just follow
I want
this
him to
out.
let you talk.
Let me follow this out. There is no method, there is no instrument in our Constitution to change it at this point. We had a window,
right.
and it played out where we have a challenge period, we have lawsuits, we have the Electoral College vote, and then the Congress accepts or denies those votes. And some people voted to deny some, but they were overruled by the majority. So now at this point, since Biden has been sworn in, he is the president and will remain the president. There's nothing to remove him for a stolen election at this point. Right? I mean, am I missing? Somebody help me.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.
Luke in Alabama. Hello, Luke.
Okay, so Joe Biden is the president. The election is over, and we have exhausted, Trump has exhausted every legal option to prove that wrong, and that's over. But for those who do truly believe, despite all that Joe Biden stole the election, what do we do as a country moving forward from their position?
Well, here's the thing. You would hope that people who are in the position to do so could investigate Dominion Software and some of these other companies and ask the question that I ask. Why did Texas refuse to buy their system? Because they failed 2 security tests. Well, what were those? How did they operate? Why did they fail in Texas, but they were okay in other states? I mean, there's some real, just fair questions you can ask about that. The other thing is, and I mentioned this earlier, and I had, got some blowback saying that we need to do what Stacey Abrams did, and that is get out people to vote. She worked to get people out to vote. We need to do that. We need to quit assuming that people are going to know what conservatives stand for and what conservative values are. We need to make the case to people. We need to be more vocal. We need to be teaching why what we say is true, what the history is on it, and we need to be getting people out to vote who are a lot of times just don't vote. A lot of them out in the country and stuff. They'll go, I ain't going to town today, do that. We need to be sure they vote.
Well, now
that's all we can do right now.
And here's what's so frustrating is we did, as far as the right for Trump, he did have record numbers. He had almost 75 million votes. So the votes did increase, but they just got more. And so the problem is, I think he landed on it. A lot of Americans accepted the election. They're just confused and frustrated about, all right, we know something went on. Who's investigating it, and what do you do from there?
Well, the point I'm making is in the Senate races in Georgia.
Yeah, in Georgia, yeah.
The rural voters did not turn out with the same numbers they did for the presidential
on the runoff,
election.
yeah. You're right.
Right. And again, what I would do if I was like coach of the team future, okay, first of all, I would say I'd like everybody to get off the roster of team past because I want to drop the phrase "it's not over," okay, and because that makes it sound like we think that Trump is going to be president somehow, and I don't think that's a good use of our energy and time.
Right.
I think there was a window, as Bubba said perfectly, going into the break. There was a window of these things that could be done, and all of them were tried, and they did not.
As that caller said, legally exhausted all the options.
So what I think our team should be called is not Team It Ain't Over. It should be Team Never Again.
Okay.
That's good.
I like that.
Yeah, and that means we're going to make sure that we don't fall into this trap again if we believe that something happened. I've said it 1,000 times. Nowadays, what I don't want, and I know I've said this again, but I have to say this. Please, those of you that lean more right in your political views as we do, okay, let's not become just a right-wing version of the left. And if Rick or Bubba or Speedy or anybody, Johnny Scratch-Off, happens to say, well, I disagree with you on this one point, instead of understanding what we're talking about, then we have to be canceled. Never listen to y'all again. Okay, well, that sounds very left-like, okay? That's like almost being so close-minded that you don't want to even walk out and talk about and discuss things. So in other words, all you do is just cancel people who disagree with you, just like the left does. Yeah. So, or maybe just disagree on one point, or maybe don't even fully disagree on even that point, just see a different way, or maybe more effective way. So I would drop all this, it ain't over, because that makes it sound like you think that Trump's going to be president again. Now, I know Dustin and that bunch, well, y'all can stay there because y'all think he's coming back March 4th. And if you're right, we'll celebrate, and I'll say, hey, I thankfully was wrong. Glad we don't have the Biden administration anymore. I'm not holding on to that a lot.
But what legal tool would do that?
I don't know, Bubba. No, I'm not going down into the conspiracy theory on that one because I don't fully understand it. Okay?
Yeah, well, I don't think there is an option.
But I know that somebody in their truck has it on their phone. I'll watch it later. but anyway, so what I would say is let's drop team it ain't over and let's be team never again.
That's good.
I like
and
that.
so then we're going to look to the future. One of the things that I have said a lot of times is we will not be pushed into a scared corner again. Oh no, the pandemic's going to get us. So we're not going to scrutinize elections and validate people the way we normally would because if they get COVID and died, we're all murderers. I'm not going to play that game again. And
let me ask you this: do the rules that were changed for this election, are they still in play now?
I don't know. So
are they temporary or were they permanent?
I don't know. And see, that's a good place. That's a good place to spend energy. That's
never
team,
again.
That's team. It's never again. That's team trying to look ahead.
What's your logo like? Is it a big N and A? Or?
Well, for some reason I want to put the Alamo on there, but I don't know why.
Alamo?
Remember the Alamo?
I like
But
that.
anyway, but team never
It's not
again.
bad.
But so team it ain't over. We don't want to be on that team because it immediately no one listens to you because they think you think Trump's going back in. So you can't get an audience. Mm-hmm. Don't say it's not over. Say never again. Because I'm just going to tell you, just like
I'll be honest with you, but if you look historically and you think this election was stolen, it's not the first one.
right.
There's one, maybe two, that have been stolen in the past.
And I'm going to go back to this again. I know it's inconvenient. The left said Trump stole the election. I mean, you can go back and find it.
Right,
4
right.
years. Yeah. So anyway,
If you're objecting to this election, I think what is safe to do is use the exact quote Nancy Pelosi did.
Right.
Use the exact quote that Hillary Clinton did.
right.
Use their exact words and credit them with it.
But I like team never again.
Yeah, I do too.
because
I do too.
because just like I will say to Lynn a minute ago, who says I'm not that I need to stand with Mike Lindell, which I do. I love Mike Lindell. But back to this. What Lynn said, it's one of those things I understand it. I hate to keep going back to 1980 and the 2-point conversion. It's like looking at a football game, and Lynn, what you were basically saying is the team I don't like scored, but they shouldn't have scored. Why didn't somebody tackle him? Why didn't the end contain? Well, he didn't. Why didn't the outside linebacker get him? I guess he missed the tackle. What about the DBs? I guess they were out of position. Yeah. What he's trying to say is because he shouldn't have scored, I don't want him to have scored. Well, there's nothing. He did score. Okay, they're going to put 6 points. This is Biden's administration on the Democrat side. They won the election, and what you're saying is I want to change the score because I don't think they scored. They shouldn't have scored, but they did. So that's why we can't be team it ain't over. We got to be team never again. That's where your energy needs to be focused in the political world. Now, I would caution some of you. Probably don't need to put as much hope in the political world as you do. Because some of the things y'all think they're going to change, they never do. Participate, be involved in it, but I wouldn't let that be the center of my universe.
No.
I would.
It will eventually let you down.
Yeah. Amen. We'll be back.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.